Alphamania, make America great again.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We have brilliant guests today. Real Texan. We have, go ahead, Real Texan. We have Real Texan. We have Poster Tubbs. We have Luke, who ran off somewhere and will be back probably shortly.
Hello, what's up?
I highly doubt Luke will miss the opportunity to talk about wait, what's going on? Is the stream working? There's excellent connection. Here, let me refresh my tab and see if the live stream is working, because I don't actually see anybody. Oh, is it working now? Guys, let me know if the stream's actually working. I can't tell. Hi, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real American. I have no actual ability to see who is watching, but I see the chat flowing, so I'm assuming we're going. Let me see here. I'm actually gonna ask chat if we're live. Chat, are we live? I can't. That my statistics are not working properly. I can't see concurrent viewers or their chat rate, but people are chatting. All right, RC can hear us. All right, cool. So I'm just going to assume YouTube is being really weird, and we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So as you guys said, we have Mr. MAGA Mal, otherwise known as Luke, here. He's got plenty to talk about today. We have Real Texan, we have Poster Tubbs. We have a crazy amount of news, a terrible loss of life once again. We lost Ozzy, and then we lost Hulk Hogan. We're completely heartbroken, especially over Hulk. I have some stuff to show you for him. But other than that, we've got crazy election news from North Carolina to Wisconsin, everywhere else. So stay tuned and get ready. Get those super chats fired up too if you want any answers from our expert panel of election Twitter. You guys aren't really autistic.
I am the expert. I am the expert. You know, there's been some debate over whether or not I own election YouTube now. By the way, you know, I make videos for rap. Now I own Tester is Done. I have my own channel. You know, I kind of like run the show here. So yeah, this is my field. So yeah, I will definitely be talking about this stuff later. So
I don't know if I call myself an expert. I'm just an amateur, political enthusiast. I'm the noob here, even though
Okay,
I've been
Poster Tubbs. Poster Tubbs. The first rule of live streaming is to be unbelievably arrogant and overconfident, and to say things that nobody else would ever say. And bizarre,
I'm a fucking expert. I've been doing this shit for 5 years.
Winston Sears is winning by 5.
I'm an expert. I'm actually pretty smart, like, not gonna lie, but this is more of a hobby for me, but because I have other things to do. So yeah.
I absolutely can confirm Poster Tubbs has kissed a woman before. So that's kind of crazy, isn't it? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I actually have.
No. Okay, I have super chats. That's good. That's good, Tubbs. All right. We do have like 4 chats going. So Jared the American, before we started, he sent in 2. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. I can't believe it. Yep, brother's gone down. If you're Catholic, if you're Orthodox, whatever, pray for his repose. If you're just a Protestant, I guess, hands up, crack open a cold one, HH, brother. Let's see. American Nerd for 2, rip Hulk Hogan. May he bring Trumpomania to heaven. Yeah, no, it just got to heaven. He stomped through the pearly gates with no shirt on, and he brought Trumpomania to the holy people. I am Battlefield for 5. What's going to happen to the NC Senate seat now that Laura Trump's not running? Michael Watley's going to run. We'll talk about that in a second. Rip Hulk Hogan. Dawson for 5. I'm a student at Boise College Seminary, And I remember the pastor that baptized Hogan. He preached at my chapel. May he rest in peace. HH, brother, I think we're all right there with you. Rest in peace. Hendon Hooker stand for two. Trump is older in both of them. Rip Ozzy and Hulk. Yeah, well, both of them did things that cause you to pass away a little bit earlier than other people. Ozzy, unbelievable
Even if
amounts of
they
drugs.
later on in life kind of regretted those decisions, but
Well, yeah, if you do a bunch of performative wrestling where you're getting concussions, you're getting your body beaten to a pulp, depending on what kind of energy injuries you sustain, it's going to hit you hard and it's going to keep you from living long. So that was the case for Hulk. For Ozzy, it was drugs. It was lots and lots of drugs. Uh, so we have a few things to cover, but obviously, top of the line, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few things from Hulk Hogan's end. Let's see here. So, if you guys remember, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, a true American patriot. He did the speech at the RNC, the legendary shirt ripoff. He got us all gassed up. Just want you guys to remember this quick moment. I'm
also
going to
his
play it.
theme song was an inspiration for the name of the channel you're watching right now, or at least I assume it is.
A real American. Yeah, I have a couple people commenting on that.
Yeah, it is. It is. Real American used to play that song in the day. I don't think he does anymore. He did copyright, but
And they tried to kill the next president of the United States.
We can sing it though.
Was enough.
Okay,
And I said,
copyright.
let Trumpomania run
I'm playing the clip for them.
Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
What an amazing
boy.
guy. Absolutely. I just played them the RNC speech because it's incredible.
Okay, we
You
have
gotta remember
breaking
it.
news. We have breaking news. This is amazing for us, but I'm gonna save it for when we talk about Wisconsin governor. I'm not gonna do it right now. We'll save it for a minute, but I got some very good
Absolutely.
news for people in chat.
Stay tuned. We've got crazy election news in like Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, everywhere. Yep. So I have Stephen Miller up here. Hulk Hogan was a childhood hero and a true American original. Larger than life, he inspired generations of young kids and was a global symbol of our national culture. My condolences to his family and loved ones. Rest in peace to a real American. So yeah, real American.
Stephen Miller
Is he-
shouts out this channel. That's crazy.
JD Vance said something very similar. He said, "Last time I promised we'd get beers together next time we saw each other. The next time will have to be on the other side, my friend. Rest in peace." I also wanted to just bring this up. You guys should look at this. I'll actually put it in the chat, in the stream chat, for them to like pick up, because like I really think people should listen to Hulk Hogan, give a little bit of his, simple religious wisdom. He was bringing up. He talked about the fact that you have to care about the eternal things and not the temporary things. A lot of the stuff that you build in real life and the problems you face, they are very, very temporary things. They might go away and disappear within 20 years of you dying, you passing away. And so you really got to focus on what things stay, what things are permanent, what things are eternal, and what you pass on to the next generation, everything else. I think it was beautiful Ecclesiastes style wisdom that he gave in this quick clip. So give that a look later if you guys feel like it. And then we had an official response from Trump. Quote, "We lost a great friend today, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way, strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolutely electric speech at the RNC that was one of the highlights of the entire week. He entertained fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive. To his wife, Sky, and his family, we give our warmest, best wishes and love. Hulk Hogan will be greatly missed." And it has a picture from the campaign of Trump and Hulk Hogan doing a arm wrestling, and Trump's beating him easily. Hulk Hogan's really struggling to beat Trump in an arm wrestle. So really cute pictures. And I have on stream for everybody to see Hulk Hogan's baptism, just so you guys know. I mean, I know not everybody in the chat is religious, but he did get baptized in 2023. It was a beautiful experience, and I think that in the very short amount of time towards the end of his life, he gave us some little nuggets of wisdom, and I hope that they all stay with you and that they pass on and cause you to make better decisions in your life, just like Hulk chose to make better decisions in his life too. So God bless all of you. We'll go on ahead to the rest of the news. Just wanted to start with a bit of sentimentality. We do have, I guess we should just jump straight into the election news because I have a few different things. But
Okay, can I
I like
mention Wisconsin real quick? Because we just had some big news.
I have Luke.
Okay.
I have your thing pulled up. First piece of news: Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers will not be seeking a third term. It is not an incumbency election. Do you want to talk a little bit about first Tony Evers not seeking a third term?
Yeah. So this is very good news for us, and I've got even better news because we have a Democrat who's expressed interest in running. Take a guess who it is. It's Mandela Barnes. Some of you guys might remember this guy. Yeah, he lost in 2022 in a Biden +5 electorate. He's very much so on the far left of the party. He said that the revolution, the American Revolution, was messed up and a bad thing. He was also known for his very bland and annoying advertisements, such as what was the line? Yeah, every single ad in Wisconsin. The Dems always talk on Twitter about he was underfunded, no one gave him money. I woke up every single day in the fall of 2022 to an ad of him saying, "My mom was a teacher and my dad worked third shift." That was like implanted in everyone's brains for like the month. So now we're gonna have to deal with that again, probably. But the good news is that means that Tom Tiffany, who will likely be jumping into the Republican side, should have an easy time winning the general if Mandela Barnes is the Dem. We're gonna have to put up with another midterm of this guy. Holy shit!
Well, it's
Is he
one
gonna
of
be
those.
a perennial candidate? And I'm also I'm glad that Tim Michaels isn't running. Like he was a fucking terrible candidate. Looking back at it,
Here's my hot take though: is I think Clayfish would have done worse. Because she had a Tudor Dixon level abortion gaffe. Obviously, she didn't say it.
that.
She didn't say it the way. So I think because Michaels was fully in favor of rape exceptions, and Clayfish wasn't. So I think that Clayfish actually would have done worse. And also, Michaels had like a much better brand because a lot of people worked for his. You don't realize how big his construction company is. Let's say a lot of people worked for it. Or knew people directly involved with it. So he had a lot of good name recognition that I don't think Clayfish would have had. And also, Scott Walker's administration is not really that popular right now. Most people don't really like it. And then if she would have ran her entire campaign on I was Scott Walker's lieutenant governor. To most of Wisconsin, that's not a good thing. So that yeah, I think we need someone who's kind of separate from that, which is what Tom Tiffany is, which is what I like. So that's what I think is going to happen. So yeah, Wisconsin, very good shot that we will be getting a Republican governor, which will be nice. We want, because of the three Rust Belt states that Trump flipped from blue to red in 2016 and then again in 2024, none of them have elected a Republican governor since 2016. So that's what we need to do. We need to get Republican governors in them. And right now we've got a very good shot at Michigan. And now we got a very good shot in Wisconsin. So it'd be nice if we could get two of the three. Pennsylvania is going to be a bit of an uphill battle, but if we're able to take out Bob Casey, you never know what happens come next year. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I'm always really happy when you guys are optimistic, and I have no reason to not be optimistic either. It seems like a non-incumbent election candidate, and the people that we might be running against, they all sound a little bit silly. I think the nice thing about the candidate you mentioned is that far left candidates, they're willing to go for them in the primary, but they obviously just have very hard time winning in general. That's what maybe New York City will be an exception, but we'll see that at least in the rest of the country.
Dude, it's so over for me. The White House announced that Trump plans to sign executive order directing cities and states to remove homeless individuals from public. Fuck.
Luke's gone. Sorry, guys.
Hashtag save Luke.
Luke is being he's being summarily executed
Luke is being sent
tomorrow.
to El Salvador. He's being sent to Guantanamo
It's
Bay.
over, dude. It was
He-
nice knowing all of you. But
He's
it's time to go.
All right, you will be sorely missed. But yeah, so that's the Wisconsin news. I guess we'll move over to North Carolina. We have breaking RNC chair Michael Whatley will be running for Senate in North Carolina. He will have the blessing of President Donald Trump after his daughter in law, Laura, opted not to seek the seat. Two people familiar with the decision told Politico. So I just want to say off the bat, very happy about this. Very happy we have Michael Whatley. People seem to think that Michael Whatley was the very competent member of like the co-chairs last year, which means that he's taken part in helping secure our elections. He knows North Carolina extremely well, according to America First Insight. He has all of the tools that he needs to win. And I think that was the way AFI described it, as like Whatley himself may be a generic Republican label, but he has the strategy down. He has the networking down. He has everything he needs down, and he's going to know exactly how to relay that perfect message to the base in North Carolina to get them out and get them voting. So it looks like I'm very positive, still very optimistic about the North Carolina Senate seat. I would have been if Laura ran. I still am with Mike Whatley running. And let me go ahead and get a couple of the. There's actually 3 super chats, so let me catch up real quick. A glitched Evie for 2, as Hulk Hogan would say, he started Heaven Mania. Yeah, Heaven Mania. He's going to be doing he's going to go back to music, and he's going to do an album in heaven and send it down to us.
No, he's gonna go on tour in heaven. It's gonna be interesting. Him and Ozzy can team up for that.
It's going to be lit, but mostly because it's just really bright up there. But it's going to be lit. I am Battlefield for 5. It pisses me off when people like Harry Sisson make fun of Hulk Hogan. It doesn't really piss me off, my friend. And the reason I would say that is it's like one of the most masculine figures in our entire culture versus the dude who's like women are too scared to even show their faces in pictures with him. Like, come on, man. Come on. We're not, we don't even know if they're women, by the way, but like that's besides the point. That I am not even remotely upset when Harry Sisson tries to make fun of Hulk Hogan. It's like a baby who just crapped his pants making fun of like a, I don't know, a Navy SEAL. It's really silly. I am Battlefield for 2.
This is the most mid upon mid picks. Okay, I got to bring this up real quick because it's not really the focus of the stream. But Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey has announced her lieutenant governor pick. She just announced a college president as her pick, bro. Meanwhile, Jack has like this super well-known sheriff as his running mate. So she picks some fucking liberal college professor or college president. Okay.
Because you know the general public has no contempt for college professors right now. That's
yeah, they hate sheriffs. That's who they hate. Yeah, no one likes sheriffs. They love college professors, though. Okay, just saying, interesting. Pay attention to that governor race. We'll know a lot more about it. Expect in the fall, there's going to be a lot of like streams dedicated to this race. I can already tell you guys. So stay tuned.
New Jersey. I cannot wait. New Jersey. I am Battlefield for 2. Would rather have Pat Harrigan run. I have no opinions on that thought. If any of you guys want to respond, you can. Cherokee Bear for 3. More sad news. The View will not be canceled. Yeah. Pouring out a cold one for Hulk. Pouring out. I guess I'm pissing in the toilet bowl for The View. So sad.
Okay, this is funny. This is funny. The university that the university that this guy was a professor at has a 54% graduation rate. So that is not very good.
Yeah, that's well, it depends on like when you're starting. If you're talking about freshman admissions to graduation versus people who just made it to the last year, it's different. But I know like the college I went to, only a third of the people who applied and became freshmen ended up staying to like 2nd through 4th years.
Yeah, I'd like to see more context now, but that'd be so funny if like that percent of seniors did that.
Let's see. American Nerd for 5. I'm glad we finally have a Republican frontrunner in North Carolina with Whatley and will hopefully win easily. But who is going to run the RNC now? American Nerd trying to help me transition into the other Whatley related story, which is obviously becoming senator means that he's not running the RNC and we need somebody to replace it. And America First AFI actually also suggested a replacement. Here, I'll throw this out for you guys to comment on. America First Insight says, we will need a new RNC chair. Glenn Youngkin will shortly be out of office, and he would be an amazing RNC chair. Any other ideas?
Brian Schimming. I'm kidding. I would rather. Yeah, no, definitely not him. Who led the Pennsylvania GOP last November?
Well, who led the penalty?
They should be
It was
considered.
obviously Scott Pressler. Scott Pressler led the
No,
Pennsylvania GOP.
Wait, hold on.
Sorry,
I forgot who the PA GOP chair is, but I don't think they were that good.
I mean, I think we should make Boston nationalist RNC. I think he would unironically like help us out a lot.
I was gonna say Ormy Dillon, but she's like dude in the Trump admin, so not her. But
Texan, did you have any thoughts
no, we
on?
We would lose the Hindu nationalist vote if that happened. So we can't do that.
Yeah,
Texan, do you have any thoughts on RNC chair replacement? Do you think Youngkin would be a good replacement for RNC chair?
Does my mic work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Because I don't think it was working earlier. But yeah, I was saying if Whatley can at least stay as RNC chair until January of next year, I think Youngkin will be a great pick.
I agree. I think I was worried because I wanted Youngkin to have a place to go in the party. He has a lot more years in him. He's funnily enough, he's younger than a lot of these people. He's just term limited. I think that would be a great place for him to just kind of squeeze in, and so that we're not.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Youngkin. Yeah, he'd be great in that role. That would also give him a platform to launch into further political offices down the line too. So yeah, that's good.
Nope, that would be cool. I guess if he ever decided he wanted to try and run for that Senate seat that we lost last year, that could also be something. I don't know. Battlefield for 2, 54, 46 seats. GOP flips Michigan. So Battlefield thinks that we will flip Michigan, keep the rest of our seats.
I mean, Georgia, we might get because it sounds like a famous soccer or not soccer, football player. I'm not fucking. Yeah, football.
So,
I'm sorry, man. I got no sleep last night.
Yeah, so when you talk about Georgia, so John Keane has dropped out. The famously, very, very famous candidate John Keane, who definitely would have won the primary by a whole bunch. I'm kidding. He has I'm pretty sure his name recognition is like complete dog shit. But anyways,
he's an insurance commissioner.
That's not like a big statewide
I know.
But
I'm just letting people know that's the office he held, which most people probably don't even know what an insurance commissioner does.
Yeah, we need to unite behind John Keane, who nobody in the state probably even knows. So, yeah, I think that was probably a good decision for him to drop out of the race. That is big. That is because Brian Kemp is getting involved, and he basically told the people running, which is Buddy Carter and possibly soon to be Mike Collins, that he would not be supporting their campaigns for Senate because Kemp is supporting, I believe his name is on here, Derek Dooley, who is a former football coach for Tennessee and Louisiana Tech.
Well, Derek Dooley, football coaches are usually pretty good optics-wise. People like football coaches, but
decent candidates in the South because the South is SEC country. But this is a guy that's never coached in Georgia, so that could be a concern. But I don't think Dooley's really going to have any baggage outside of coaching outside of Georgia. Somebody like Mike Collins, who I love Mike Collins. I don't know how well he do statewide. I know he overperforms in his district, but something about Mike Collins is that he doesn't really have a filter online when it comes to social media.
I don't think it's that. I think he just has really bad staffing choices. I don't think it's really him. I don't think he's trigger happy. Look, I don't think he's a noticer. If you guys know what that term is, his Twitter account made a noticer-esque post. I don't think that's Mike Collins. He's like 70.
Yeah, I doubt he's the one making the
the term
tweets,
has
but
certain
it's still
connotations. I hope you realize that. Like the term noticer has certain connotations, even if it really shouldn't. You know, there's Steve Taylor
That's what
noticing.
I'm talking about.
There are
I'm
people
talking-
that there. Okay, but we know what Luke's talking about. We know what Tubbs is talking
Mhm.
about. If you don't, I guess go look up Steve
Well,
Taylor.
there's Steve Taylor noticing, and there's like schizo noticing, if you know what I mean. And like I'm pro Steve Taylor, just saying.
Okay, so our point is Mike Collins is old. He's not hip with the boys and the online lingo. It's probably some sort of person helping him run his Twitter account. But
who's probably a raper. But I'm kidding. But
we all like Mike Collins. I think in this chat,
I just think you should stay in the house.
You think you should stay in the house?
Yeah, he's already one of our best congressmen, despite the $9.77 he took from AIPAC for a fucking cheeseburger. But that's beside the point.
I say, screw our opinions. What do you guys think Trump's going to do? Do you think Trump's going to get with the message that Kemp's doing?
I think he will, because I had heard there's been several reports that Trump and Kemp were kind of looking for a consensus pick, and the fact that Kemp's moving ahead with this makes me think he's got Trump's blessing too. So because that was the goal, they were going to wait until they found someone that Trump and Kemp could agree on, and the fact Kemp's going ahead with this, I think Trump will have his back. That's another thing. We're doing so much better than 2022. We're getting all of our candidates figured out now, instead of having these super divisive primaries like Pennsylvania in 2022, where the winner won with like how do you expect to win that general election when the primary basically serves as a general election where you're running multi-million-dollar attack ads on your opponent about how he's like out of fit for the state, and then you expect to go on and have that guy win the general? We've definitely learned a lot since then. It seems like Dems now are the ones who have the competitive primaries in places like Michigan. It looks like in the Wisconsin governor race, there's going to be a few Democrats jumping into the race. So,
New Jersey. Don't forget New Jersey. New Jersey just got out of a brutal Democrat primary. So
I saw that Bill Spadea, who was kind of running against Jack, who was like he was running to the right of Jack. Now he's stopped supporting Trump over the files. So,
are you talking about the QAnon shaman guy?
No, I'm talking about Bill Spadea, the guy in New Jersey.
He was a radio host in New Jersey. I guess he stopped supporting Trump because of the files. So,
thank you so much.
I wonder if that has to do with maybe Trump not endorsing him in the primaries. It's an interesting trend I've noticed. It's like with Mo Brooks. Remember Lou Barletta? All these people who used to be very conservative people, and then Trump endorsed their opponent, and then they just spazzed out and were just like, I don't like you anymore. So.
Okay, I didn't have this in the show notes, and I didn't have it in the tabs I'd pulled up. Did you guys see the ad Massey made? You guys see the ad?
He's going to make his entire campaign about the guy.
Yeah, he bought $130,000 worth of Kentucky ads where he's like, Trump pedo ?
Speaking of which, on that note, we talk about what Ruben Gallego did.
Oh yeah, Ruben Gallego.
What you've been saying for years.
He basically, he's being a fucking hypocrite. Okay, I will basically say this. I think he shot down a Epstein-related thing from Markwayne Mullin. I think that's what it was, Markwayne Mullin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's basically what they're trying to do. Democrats are basically trying to make Epstein their own issue. So if they're going to shoot down any proposal from Republicans because they want to take charge on the Epstein issue to make Republicans look guilty. Which also means they're going to sneak in a bunch of bills of pork into whatever Epstein bills they propose.
Let me
Yeah,
pretend to
because
be
Mark Wayne
let me
Mullen,
let,
like,
let,
this should be
let me
what Republicans should be attacking him on. Mark Wayne Mullen just came out with a bill that was going to unseal all of them. Every Democrat voted it down, but then later they had their own vote that was like hyper specific on some things, and then they held it, and then they were like, Republicans voted no. It's like, you guys just voted no on the actual bill to unseal everything. Like, sheesh.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Democrats. Well, that's
This is
also
the
why
most,
Democrats
on
want to.
both
Yeah,
sides, this is the dumbest issue
yeah,
possible. It's
yeah.
just,
It's
this
a
is going to
war
be the
between both
stupid
sides. They're
thing
trying to
now.
take control over the issue.
It's going to be this stupid thing now where every time the Dems are going to keep bringing it up, the Republicans are going to keep bringing it up. No one's ever going to pass their thing because neither side's bill is going to get 60 votes. So, dude, this is the worst possible thing. And we're having so much winning on like the policy front. But no, this is everything. Only thing people want to talk about.
And it all comes down to one thing. They each want their big opponent in jail. Republicans think Biden's in the files. They want him in jail. Democrats think Trump's in the files, which he probably is, based on other stuff. And they want him in jail. So
Leave it to Congress to take a legitimate issue and turn it into a grandstanding theater show. It's almost as if this chamber is designed to not get anything done. And yeah, that is the point of all of this. The point of all of this is, oh, well, we can make the other side look bad. Democrats want to make the right look bad. Massey wants to make Trump and whoever he endorses against him look bad. Whatever
well,
it
that's the
is,
thing. Massey hates both Biden and Trump. He wants both of them in jail, so he'll be the, I guess, mediator of the conflict.
He'll be the mediator. I got a couple of super chats. Oh, please don't freeze, chat. Freeze. Stop freezing, chat. Thank you. Okay. I am Battlefield for 5 clarifying his previous comment. We can flip it with Mike Rogers. He was close to winning the seat without proper GOP funding. I agree. I actually am kind of curious as to if there was any funny business last year. But
especially with Al Saeed potentially being the Democrat nominee, because it seems like he's getting support because of the Zohran surge, you know?
That's the thing. Now, I mean, obviously Haley Stevens is still a frontrunner, but yeah, because of the Zohran surge, the Zohran wave, you have a lot of these Muslim progressives that are skyrocketing in support. You just saw it in Minneapolis. And now you're probably
I'm not going to say there's a front runner right now, because when you say she's the front runner, it means she's up by 2 with like 30% undecided.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. And also, I mean, Stevens, yeah, she has the Apex support. That's going to kill her in like the Dearborn area. She also does have a former governor backing her, James Blanchard. Not that it really matters, although he did serve. I mean, that was like a 1980s governor, so that's nothing.
I see people in chat.
Bernie Sanders endorsement.
I see people in chat saying two things. I see some people saying, I don't care about Epstein. I see some people saying, I do care about Epstein. Here's the deal. You should all be mad. The people that don't care about Epstein should be mad that we're wasting all of our time on this with nothing getting done. And the people that do care about Epstein should be sad that an actual legitimate political issue is being used as football. It's being used as theater. These clowns don't give a shit about any of this in reality. And all they're doing is trying to use your emotions, abuse your emotions to gain their political ends. And that should piss off all of you. It should piss off all of you that the Democrats have gone and thrown this way with it. Massey's behavior should piss you off. All these people abusing this issue, but not actually wanting to get anything done, it should piss you off. And that's just the end of the day. And yeah, with Mullen, of course, I just want to emphasize, because we weren't really emphasizing earlier, Senator Gallego, Democrat, Arizona, he explicitly, I believe he was the one from Arizona that beat Kerry Lake, reserving the right to object. He objected. He wouldn't argue why he's objecting, but he objected and pulled back to Mark Wayne Mullen wanting to reveal all the Epstein files. And so just pointing out, when the Democrats use this again, when they try to exploit your emotions again, like they have been for the past solid 2 weeks, remember, they did this. They objected. They pushed it out. All these people are full of shit. Okay, a couple more super chats. Hendon Hooker for 5 as a Tennessee fan, Dooley was horrible for the Tennessee Volunteers, ruined our program for at least a decade. I will unalive myself if he is the Senate nominee.
Well, considering Tennessee and Georgia are rivals, maybe he did it on purpose.
Oh no. Yeah, well, let's just like hope he's better with rhetoric and everything else, because being a football coach and being a senator are slightly different jobs. Let's see. I am Battlefield for 5. Mullen is one of the few genuine Republicans I trust alongside Rick Scott. Mark Wayne Mullen. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I agree. Chance for 5. Massey's turning into quite the narcissist. Look at his tweets lately. Constantly brags about himself, but his record doesn't back it up at all. Yep. Shower. He's a shower, not a grower. He's only a shower. He doesn't have anything to grow in this economy. I don't know why I said it like that, but you get what I'm saying. I am Battlefield for 5. The problem with Ossoff in Georgia is that he has a lot of cash on hand, so we need to outfund him. Do you guys think cash is going to be an issue?
I think it will, actually. I mean, Ossoff, I think, actually Ossoff's money, I believe, actually makes up a third of Democrat Senate funding.
I'm going to look this up.
I will say this, though. Does that money turn into black turnout? Because here's the thing. Warnock was able to get black turnout because he's the pastor of Martin Luther King. Because here's the thing. One thing you guys got to know about midterms in the South, black turnout falls off a cliff. Warnock was able to limit that because of how and even then Republicans still did good overall in Georgia. The reason they lost was that they ran a I don't know how to say it. We all know how bad Herschel Walker was with all the scandals and shit he had. But when it comes to the Warnock, he was the pastor of Martin Luther King's church, so he managed to get a lot of people to turn out who didn't necessarily. John Ossoff, on the other hand, he's a Jew. You know, is he going to really get a bunch of? And that's not even meant to be a bad point or anything. I'm just pointing out that someone like that usually isn't, and he's not very charismatic either. He's not a very good campaigner. A bunch of Dems act like he's an amazing campaigner. He really isn't.
He's trying to say that he would do better in a different area of the country, but not necessarily great in the Southeast. And I just wanted to point out, I just looked this up because it was mentioned. It looks like 90% of first quarter donations to Ossoff were from out of state. So that's I think you could run on that too. Outsider money. I see a lot going here, but it looks like
that would be like a lot of your resist slips from like Virginia and New York and all of that, California.
Yeah. But it looks like in the first half of 2025, he earned $21 million. He had $15 million already on hand. So he's got approaching $40 million just from that. So we're going to need deep pockets to go up against this Georgia race. And maybe that is the key in the Dooley pick. If, like you guys are saying, it's a compromise pick between Trump and his giant war chest and Brian Kemp, then maybe that's what is the secret sauce. If Trump's willing to give money for this Georgia Senate race, and maybe have a little bit of a say in who was exactly picked by Kemp. If the compromise candidate truly is Dooley, we may see a lot of money injected into his campaign from the Trump war chest. Very nice to think about. Hopefully it turns out to be true. Let's see. Okay, so we're caught up with Super Chat, so we can keep going. We have a few different stories to hit. I think we covered Georgia, we covered North Carolina, we covered Wisconsin, so that's all the election news. I did want to talk about, it was going to be the original topic of the stream, actually. Trump marching into the Fed. I know you guys heard about this. Trump is examining the Federal Reserve today and the building projects. There was a $2.5 billion renovation project for a tiny little building, the Federal Reserve building, compared to what a couple $1 billion can build. It can build a brand new football stadium with that kind of money. So when you look at the Federal Reserve building, does not seem like a building that needs $2 billion. So I think Jerome Powell's now being sued for two different things. I think he's being sued for the issue regarding the funding of the Federal Reserve refurbishing And he's also being sued now for claims of violating transparency law. He's accused of purposely keeping interest rates high. The suit seeks to block next week's secret Fed meeting, and they just want the Feds to actually have public meetings that we can watch. Very, very interesting. Here's the quote. Azoria is deeply concerned that the FOMC under Chair Jerome Powell is maintaining high interest rates to undermine President Donald J. Trump and his economic agenda, Azoria being the plaintiff. So what do you guys think? We're entering, I believe, a second lawsuit now under Azoria, and we're trying to go after Jerome Powell while Trump is examining the Fed today. Any thoughts about any of this, guys?
I mean, the Don't Fire Jerome Powell school walkout will be taking place tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. So I highly recommend we're doing a national movement against firing Jerome Powell. I highly recommend people.
This is really good. This is how the Democrats are gonna win over the youth.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it seems pretty cool. He's kind of annoying. I don't like Jerome Powell. But I don't really want to fire him either because that would like tank the markets. So let's not do that.
Y'all remember the AI thing of the resignation letter?
The AI resignation letter.
Yeah, the AI seal. That was funny.
You guys remember when that Walter Bloomberg account tweeted out that Trump got all those tariff deals like the first day of the tariffs, and then like the stock market went up like 5 points in a few minutes? That was funny.
And it was all fake.
Yeah, it was just complete BS. Yeah.
Well, I understand your concerns about the stock market crashing if Jerome Powell was fired, but I see a really clean strategy being implemented where they don't even have to fire him, where Jerome Powell is under massive scrutiny. He's having to be in court all day. He's under all of this pressure. He might lose everything. And he has multiple companies infinitely scrutinizing him while they're forcing him to have public meetings instead of private meetings at the Federal Reserve. And all in that meantime, all Trump has to do is announce an early Fed chair replacement where, oh, yeah, this guy is not going to be, brought up appointed until May, but you get to know who he is now, and he gets to publicly speak about all of his opinions about how the Federal Reserve should be run. And sometimes they say, even though he can't personally lower the rates, he can direct the markets and he can lead them by the nose, completely silencing out, muffling Jerome Powell's influence over the markets in that respect. So a lot of people have been talking about that. I think that's a really clean strategy. Either way, looks like Powell's got a lot of heat on him. We have a couple super chats. Chance for 5. Remember when some Dems said Ossoff? I've forgotten how to pronounce words all of a sudden. But you remember when Ossoff would be a future president? Seems to me like that's a terminally online take now, given he hasn't done anything. It was Georgia obsessed.
So funny. That's why I really want to beat him next year, because like all these Dems think he's like a future presidential candidate. And if we take him down, that'd be hilarious, because that's one of their like people they're really grooming for 2028. So if he just loses, and these people don't expect him to lose, it would be amazing. We just take out all their presidential hopefuls. That would be nice. But we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. I am Battlefield again for 5, trying to clarify some financial numbers on the race. He has 15 million in cash on hand, has raised 40 million and spent 30 million. Battlefield with 2 coming up again. I have been getting his ads. I'm in Florida. You're probably like in the eastern section, like right under Georgia. Yeah, I get that. I haven't been seeing any, but I'm not in that part of Florida. So we will have to, like I said, we will have to wait and see. I hope that we can get a lot of money injected into this campaign. And as I said, when we closed that segment earlier, it really all hinges on Kemp and Trump working together. So that's what we're praying for. Let's go ahead. We have a few other things. I don't expect you guys to have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to bring it up because we didn't talk about it. The MLK files got released. The MLK files got released, and
What's did they release certain tapes of him banging certain people?
well, there's the lines talking about a party that he had, and the chat is seeing it on screen right now. The things that I'm not saying verbally on live stream, but yeah, he had a bunch of women R-worded in front of him. Yeah, and he just was kind of cool with it, and it's not going to be on any news stations. They're not going to try and undo this. But if you really cared about what these files say when they're being released, here's what the MLK files tell you: that he was a scumbag, that he was a polyamorous person, polygamous person, and that even while being polygamous, he he was abusing his wife physically abusing his wife in their home. um, and like again, just go and read this. Are you reading the words on the screen right now, chat? Are you seeing the kind of crap that was going on at these hotels, at these parties? And on top of that, I've talked before about the Jacobin article that everybody should read. There's a Jacobin article written by socialists explaining why MLK was an exemplar of early black socialism in America, and how he did not believe in the contents of their character, not the color of their skin. He believed in reparations and a more equitable society. But I don't know. For all you guys that love these conspiracies, this isn't a conspiracy. It's just the plain text that the mainstream media, including Fox, refuses to report on. So, yeah, I'll let that sit in the air. American Nerd for 3. I'm got off for a second. Look, American Nerd, we've been talking about election stuff. We've been talking about Dooley. We've been talking about Georgia, North Carolina, everything. I just wanted to stop for a second and bring up to everybody interested in the Epstein files. Like, hey, here's the MLK files. Here's what you can learn from here. It's actually a pretty straightforward story. Yeah, maybe we stop worshiping this terrible, terrible human being. But
I called this, by the way. Sorry for interrupting, but I called you. I called that the mythos around MLK would die off, but it's going to be very slow. But I wouldn't be surprised by if by the 2040s and 2050s, like people are kind of just forget about him, because in the 2010s, it was fucking, even in the 2010s, the MLK worship was crazy. And even now, it's not what it quite was in the 2010s. I don't remember the 2000s, but still.
I mean, MLK's approval is probably in the 90s still, but
yeah, for sure.
It'll probably go down.
But
imagine what MLK's approval would be if the news media actually reported on these files. And look, this is all stuff that we've known. But if the news media did their job and reported on the released MLK files, you would all know that Martin Luther King Jr. not a great fella. But we have
the thing is that there's people that will probably refuse to believe it because the FBI was trying to get them to commit something.
Is anybody confused and thinking the FBI was wrong for looking at MLK? Nope. Actually, he was one of the primary proponents of Marxist thinking. Yes, he had critiques of Marx, but they were not core critiques. They were, oh, well, this idea doesn't work and this idea doesn't work. But Karl Marx, you gotta.
But he said to judge people by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. So he's a great guy. He's great.
You don't have to believe in
judge him from by one sentence from one speech. Yeah.
Yep. You don't have to believe us. You don't have to believe the FBI. Just go read what the guy actually wrote, and majority 90% of what he wrote has nothing to do with that speech that you guys all remember.
It's like calling Obama. I don't know. It's like calling Obama the greatest president ever because he said something about hope and change in 2008. That doesn't work for it. Doesn't work that way.
I guess Bernie Sanders is going after Elon.
I will pull that up in a sec, but we have a new Truth Social I want to put on the screen. after reading some super chats real quick. I am Battlefield for 2. I live in South Florida, ... I didn't want to say specifically where you live, dude. But, like, I wasn't going to say, oh, well, he probably lives south of Jacksonville, or he lives south of Gainesville, or he lives in south. I didn't want to specify. I didn't want to dox you, bro. I was trying not to dox you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I can see people. I mean, people in Miami are probably getting his ad. So
Yeah, that's pretty crazy though. Chance for 2. Sue Collins won in 08. A blue tsunami. She'll be fine. I think. Are you trying
She'll
to
be
talk
fine.
about
yeah, I mean,
2020?
she'll win, but you really don't want to compare elections now to elections that happened. Let's see here, 17 years ago.
You definitely don't, and I think it's actually very interesting if you compare the current numbers to 2020, and like look at the trend from 2014 to 2022 now. I think you see a very interesting picture for him. But like I said, gonna wait for the Democrats to announce a candidate, and then I'll tell you how I feel about that. American Nerd for 2. MLK worship skyrocketed in the 2010s, cause Obama. Now again, I have to bring it up once again. I bring it up like once a stream. I'm old. I remember growing up in the Bush admin, and we talked about MLK every single year for 2 or 3 days. I was there. We watched the speeches in elementary school and middle school. It wasn't no bummer. It just, we have been worshiping this guy for a long time. I don't know how
I mean,
else
this
to
is a
say it.
guy this is a guy. I mean, I Have a Dream is like required reading in every single school, public and private, in all 50 states. In fact, probably even every country. So,
But back to the Truth Social post, I'll go ahead and read it out for chat. Getting ready to head over to the Fed to look at their now $3.1 billion plus construction project. Also present will be Fed Chair Jerome Powell, Senator Tim Scott, Senator Tom Tillis, OMB Director Russ Vought, Chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Bill Pult, my appointees to the National Capital Planning Commission, James Blair, Will Scarf, various other construction professionals. So, Donald J. Trump, right now, bringing in the big guns, having people who know a lot about construction take a look at what exactly all those steel beams costing $2 billion, $3 billion. We'll have to see exactly where that money's being spent. I think it's going to be pretty bad, chat. I don't know what you guys think.
breaking global news. France President Emmanuel Macron will officially recognize Palestine as a state. France will recognize Palestine as a state.
I mean, I think we
Oh.
should. I think we should at this point. I mean, I think it's becoming pretty hard to defend Israel, bro. Like just cutting off food like that. I know they've been doing it for a while, but the way they're ramping it up, the way they're bombing churches now, it's like, come on, guys, you know? And
I
I mean, even
also.
Mike
Mhm.
fucking Huckabee came out and said they were going too far, bro. If you lose Mike Huckabee, bro,
Yeah, you're cooked.
Well,
You're cooked.
he's supposed to be our pro-Israel guy in government. But anyways, the main thing, while I condemn the bombings and holding food from people and everything else, the main thing that was keeping people from recognizing Palestine as a state is the lack of coordination. Like basically the people in charge of the government being very pro-terrorist. But that's actually seemingly going to change, at least in the Gaza Strip. We have multiple countries dedicated, committed to forming a government to govern the people in Gaza over. So perhaps that contributes to this. I know France is doing this part as like a virtue signal, probably partially because they're going to start now accepting refugees from Palestine, I believe, from Gaza Strip. But yeah, no, it seems like it's a timely thing. Hopefully, we have wise and prudent people to rule over uh, these kind of. I'm gonna call them knuckleheads, like Tim Walls. They're a bunch of knuckleheads, but they deserve to not starve and they deserve to not be bombed. I think.
Yeah, I remember a few months ago, there was a big rumor that Trump was going to recognize Palestine because he was just so mad at Netanyahu over, I guess, dragging us into war with Iran. potentially at least. But
Yeah.
I mean, Huckabee ended up striking down that rumor. So maybe it's possible Trump thought about it, and then maybe his advisors told him not to, because
Uh,
I guess, and in fairness, he probably would lose a lot of support from like maybe a decent chunk of the Republican Party, just because they are, yeah, I mean, easily the most Zionist political party probably in the world. So,
right.
except as outside of Israel, but
There's a
that's
mixture of reasons I think we've failed to recognize Palestine as a state. I don't think it's as simple as some other people might want to put it on. Not talking about you, but talking about other people. Other people want to make it very simple, but it's not that simple. American Nerd for Five, thoughts on the new South Park episode? I get what they were trying to do, but it just felt like that the big joke was something from 2003, but not funny. I just remember this. I didn't. I grew up in a Southern Christian household. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto because I thought like, oh man, I don't want to break traffic laws in a video game. Like I was that kind of kid, man. And I didn't watch South Park either. And I got to college. I was in dorms, and some guy tried to make me watch South Park in our dorms. And it was like the season where they started turning the teacher into Trump, and it wasn't funny at all, and it's not funny at all right now. I've heard people describe the South Park creators as centrist fence sitters. That seems pretty accurate to me for the most part. They
I
want
think
to.
they're
South
on the
Park.
left, but
Okay,
they're
okay.
like
Here's
pretty
the thing.
leftists.
South Park was funny in the late 1990s, like the 2000s, but now it's like it's not what it used to be, and it's not because they're making fun of Trump. Like their content is, it's okay, but it's not what it used to be. Like early 2000s South Park. If you watch those episodes, man, they're perfect. They're still, I'll still defend them. Like the South Park movie is fantastic from like
I
1999.
I remember laughing at one South Park. I saw it on a TV broadcasting once. It was like would they go to the astronomy place where they look at the stars projected on the screen, and there's like some cultist brainwashing kids there. It's actually pretty. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. Let's see.
Basically, the whole Trump joke that they were doing, they're basically just doing the same thing that they did with like Saddam Hussein in like 2003 or something. They put him in bed with Satan, and they gave Trump a small penis, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, so brilliant. 2000 IQ post.
Yeah,
Oh
so yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Trump has a small dick.
this has been reminding me. I'm sorry to continue delaying your post because I see your post, Luke, but this is France related, so I'm gonna bring this up real quick and put it in chat for you guys on Discord. Uh, Candace Owens is being sued by Emmanuel Macron. Uh, and
Honestly, I
Macron,
just think this is
Emmanuel
funny, and
Macron's wife
I,
in
I, I,
Delaware.
I'm not gonna complain because I think Candace Owens is kind of annoying. So
yeah.
I think it's stupid, but I'm not really gonna
She's a
complain
black
about
wiper.
it. I'm not gonna be like, no, he can't do that. Candace is just speaking. Like I don't really care too much.
I mean, she's
It's like
basically a black wiper. But here's the thing: and Candace Owens lives in Nashville, I believe.
Yeah.
She's being sued in Delaware. She is
That's
being sued in Delaware
so the
because I guess
corrupt
because
judge.
Macron. Well, Bridget Macron thinks that she would get more success out of Delaware than Tennessee. So,
Oh, yeah, she probably would.
because yeah, and because Delaware's judge, I mean, all of Delaware's judges, I'm pretty sure, are Democrats. So, that'll probably ensure that Bridget's going to get a fuckload of money from Candace and probably an apology or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I know Knowles made this particular argument about the lawsuit. Michael Knowles made the argument that you have to prove malice if you want to kind of get a conviction on this type of thing. And if what it's hard to prove malice in the current climate where the entire culture has people questioning, is this, I mean, any man can be a woman, any woman can be a man. And so I think like
I mean,
if we
especially
were
in Delaware, considering the state's politics, you're probably gonna. I don't even know if you need to prove malice. It's Candace Owens. They'll just give it to
Well,
Bridget,
yeah,
and
if we're
be
assuming
done with it.
corruption, Candace is probably going to get the coffers cleaned, or I guess her husband, because her husband makes all the money actually. But Candace Owens doubles down after she got sued, and her reply to being put into court is, "You were born a man, and you will die a man."
Now the question is, how much money is Candace gonna have to pay to Bridget?
I hope
That's
it's a
the thing. I
lot.
mean, Alex Jones had
hope
to
it's a
pay
lot.
like what? I mean, Alex Jones has to pay like what, $1 trillion or something to the Sandy Hook families. So
I don't have any like genuine ill will against Candace Owens, but what I can say is that this woman she genuinely needs to be told by someone that she has gone too far on XYZ. Like, again, she really should just be a housewife. She doesn't have to do any of this. She doesn't have to just live stream. She's doing it for the attention. She's doesn't have any sort of noble cause like Alex Jones has. Like, that's why I forgive Alex Jones for like all like a lot of the obvious clickbait he does, and sometimes he is not explicitly telling the truth on his program. I kind of forgive him for that in my heart, because I know, like, oh well, he really does believe in this higher principle, and he just thinks he can play dirty to get there, and also he's just been given hell. With Candace, it's just like a bored housewife saying crazy things and promoting flat earth theory and promoting
and
all this other crap.
blaming a bunch of stuff on yeah.
Yeah, so she's like a walking optics disaster, and
She's
it's really
again,
sad.
she's a black riper. I know I probably can't say that. We're absolutely no gun my ass, but
Candace
No,
Owens
Yeah.
is
everyone
a
hates her because the gripers don't even like her anymore because she gave
she like
Nick
debated
questions.
Fuentes or something. I didn't watch it, but apparently they
So
clashed over
she's
like
literally able
IQ.
to opinionate everyone, but she's too center for the griper. She's too right wing for everyone else. She's in this weird position now. It's yeah, I have no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
how she
Candace
got.
Owens, by the way, got famous off of like running a doxing site on right wingers in like 2015, and then she grifted into being like a like a conservative, a so-called conservative, and then in 2018, for some reason, like she became famous. I think it's because like Kanye West or whatever tweeted about her, and
yeah, and
then
then she
like
was on like she was part of Turning Point until like 2018,
No,
2019, where
Prager
she
you had her on like 7 times. That
yeah,
also
oh
Prager
yeah,
you had her
oh yeah,
on, which is
she was
hilarious
a
in
big Tom
hindsight.
PragerU, but I was saying like I think she was like the
Oh yeah, I'd
communications
also
director
like
of
to
Turning
point out that one of the current candidates running for Oklahoma governor by the name of Ryan Walters is a self-described Christian nationalist, but he says that if he becomes governor, teachers are gonna have to like it's gonna be required they play Prager University like content in schools. Like that's
Actually, I think he's already doing that as as like the education as like a
oh
superintendent.
my
Like
god, bro, why are we doing this shit? So it's literally these kids are just being taught
and the
like
other and
this.
speaking of which, Oklahoma's 50th in education. So he's I don't know. He's not running for governor right now. He's not technically in the race. He could run for governor, but honestly, he's probably going to face a competitive race regardless. In
All
Oklahoma,
right.
by the way, Oklahoma.
I'm
Also,
gonna
Salt
I'm
Lake
And
gonna
if you
City.
guys don't know, the whole thing with PragerU is they're known for just bringing, like, it's not even a comedy. Every single video, they find a way to bring Israel into it and be like, this is right. It could be a video about tax policy, and they could be like, you look at Israel's tax policy, it's phenomenal. It does all this shit. It's like,
Oh,
and
because
they've
it's
also got
real
like
and it's Traeger's
half of their
education.
videos are just advertly about Israel too. So it's like, why are we? This is clearly like funded by the Israeli
Oh
government.
yeah,
Why are we?
I think there was actually a video of like how much does America spend on Israel? Well, truth is, we don't spend enough. Oh yeah, and I
I
was
know.
going to mention Candace. I think Candace was part of Turning Point until she like said something about Hitler, and then that was the end of that.
No, no, she left Turning Point a while ago. You're thinking of the Daily Wire. She got kicked off the Daily Wire. Yeah.
Turning Point.
We
Hitler. Oh, sorry, I can't
disconnected
believe
for a
that's
second, guys. Okay. We're reconnecting. All right. Sorry about that, chat. Refresh
The woke mob is
stream.
trying to shut down the stream. Very sad.
All right. I'll be right back in 1 second. You guys keep talking.
yeah. Let me. All right, I got the headline. Well, I got the headline at least. It's Washington Post, but let me send it here, Luke. This was from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a comment she made when she was at Turning Point as to like their communications director or something like that. And then Daily Wire hired her years later, and then obviously the rest is history. Now she's
Oh damn.
yeah. Candace. Yeah, she's always been kind of questionable, I guess, in terms
The
of.
fact she said it in the UK too is hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's even worse. And I think she's also a dual citizen of the UK and the US.
Isn't her
So
husband from the UK?
yeah, her husband's British.
All right, guys, I am back, and I will go ahead. I'll bring up Luke's story after the super chats are read.
Speaking of Britain, by the way, a very quick story, but Rashida Tlaib posted a tweet about a United Ireland because she met with like a Sinn Féin politician.
I mean, I support a United Ireland as well, just a different kind of United Ireland.
So true.
Oh goodness. Oh yeah, I guess the one thing I would say about PragerU that I was going to say earlier is just, and I know this doesn't matter as much to other people, but go watch their video about Reconstruction, because they believe in this thing where they say, this is what they say. They believe that the North won the Civil War, but the South won the peace. And they advocate that they were like, well, we should have just been harsher during Reconstruction. We should have dissolved their property. We should have, like, they basically are just saying we should have violated the South more. We should have taken their stuff. We should have plundered them. We should have done all these horrible things to Southerners. That is what they advocate, because they think if we had just enslaved and bruised and beaten the South for another 10, 15 years after Reconstruction, then maybe Jim Crow wouldn't have happened, even though that started in Connecticut. Maybe all these evil racist things wouldn't happen. That is what PragerU believes. PragerU believes they could have ended racism by taking Southern property and giving it to black people. Very conservative, very, very, very free market. Fucking, I'm not.
My solution to ending racism is making everyone watch pro wrestling. 1990s era WWE. It was WWF at the time. You know that.
I mean, I know the best. I know the best cure to anti-Semitism is watching 21 Jump Street. So
the best
I
cure
guess
to anti-Semitism is watching like Adam Sandler movies. Unironically.
So true. Hey, watch out for what was it? They're going to do the golf movie again. They're going to do a sequel to the golf movie that Adam Sandler did.
Yeah, the Happy Gilmore movie. I'm
Yeah,
fine with it, but man, can they come up with something original? Like, can these people in can these people in Hollywood come up with something original?
They're 100% bankrupt.
Nope, I guess not.
No. Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and read some super chats for you guys. I am Battlefield for 5. We shouldn't recognize either, but only the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Crusader moment. Yeah, so true, dude. I am Battlefield for 5. Rather have Candace be annoying than supporting the left. True. Chance for 5. Candace used to be pretty decent. Even some of her talk about Israel not long after October 7th wasn't bad, but she went full Groyper, lost her mind. Again, it's the attention thing, right? It's the attention thing. And like when you give like certain types of commentators, especially women, when you give them a little bit too much attention and they like become the center of the world, they become narcissistic. I mean, it's just like what we were accusing Massey of earlier, right? Like they start going insane because the world's all about them. Yeah. Anyways, so the thing that Luke wanted to talk about, pulling it up right now, Bernie Sanders going after Elon Musk. This is Elon Musk's vision of the future. How many jobs do we lose when this transformation takes place? Do we really want to interact with robots instead of people? What do you think? So this is in response to Elon Musk stating, and as you guys can see on screen, that he's going to have Optimus robots next year bring out your food to your car like a Sonic car hop delivery person. And he wants the robots to do this, and Bernie Sanders is trad posting. He is trad posting longingly about the 1950s. He has a image of like maybe like a 50s or 60s lady like bringing out a milkshake to a car at a diner, and Bernie Sanders is trad posting. So
to be fair, he lives in Vermont. It looks like that image. A lot of it does. Although they may just fill it up with Somalis.
A Somali bringing you the drink, so it wouldn't be like some nice 50s-esque thing like that. So
Well, the thing that I think is so hollow about Bernie is that if we were having this conversation in the early 2000s, Bernie Sanders probably would be calling for a return to, at least aesthetically speaking, not like policy wise, he probably would be doing this kind of trad return thing authentically. But because of the party he's connected to, and because he's willing to capitulate no matter what to the Democrat Party's idea of what the country should be, he went from anti-immigration to pro-immigration. He went from pro-tariff to anti-tariff, and he's been the real hypocrisy here is Bernie Sanders has been taking part in the selling away of this country by Washington D.C. to globalists and transnational corporations this entire time. The very people that he criticizes as oligarchs, he has been helping stay in power and keep their money. So it's
The
just
millionaires, the billionaires. Now it's just the billionaires.
So yeah, Bernie, I probably would have respected you if you had ever if you had decided in the 2010s and 2020s that you were gonna vote against the party line on important legislation like this, but
If
you
he didn't
haven't.
sell his soul, if he didn't sell his soul to Hillary Clinton.
But you haven't. You decided, look, you decided, which is smart in one way, that you weren't going to be the Thomas Massey of the Democrat Party. You decided that you were going to, be a good boy and get in line. But there is to a point where you have to ask, well, what am I actually voting for? Uh, in Massey's case, he would have been voting for at least preserving the country in one sense. But for Sanders, he just voted to throw away the country. So I don't know what to say.
oh yeah, I'd like to share this post from Irish Patriot. He just replied to my post, mentioning that because the Dem leaders are leading with the leaders of Sinn Féin, they're learning how to expertly flop an election. These were the polls from the last Irish election. You can see how much they were ahead, and then they just lost it at the end. So
Yep.
I suppose this is a lesson. They're getting lessons for 2026 on how to screw up. So
Very
love
true.
to see it.
Very
Love to see it.
Well, we'll have to see, man. I have a $10 donation from Homer Sapien. Though, remember when Hillary called half the right deplorables? If the Groypers get their way, she will be the most undeserved victory lap. The Groypers will be the future if we continue ignoring. No, no, I did. I promised. There, there is no genetic future for them. There is no political future for them. There is no eternal future for them. Probably just hell. I really don't think they're. The only people that from that circle that end up having a future are the ones that get married and leave. So, um, yeah, no. I mean, like what's happened recently in that sphere? We had one guy get accused of PDF filing, sexting a girl. We had another guy who was a big debater. He ended up getting into a pail of hot water that I'm not remembering. I'm thinking of Pine Sap. I forget what happened to him. Oh yeah, he lost his job. So no, these
Okay, I'm
people have.
sorry. If you go on a major YouTube channel like Jubilee and openly say I'm a Nazi, don't be shocked when you lose your job. For Christ's sake,
Don't
all these people are defending him. Like, bro, like you should know better than that. Like, what, you expect any business to keep you on?
Yeah.
Like,
don't go
what,
to Jubilee.
what
Don't
happens if someone walks into that thing and just starts yelling, "Hey, that's the guy on that show who said he's a Nazi"? Like, that company would lose, or wherever he worked. I assume it was some because he's like 19. I assume it's some just minimum wage type job, something like that.
Walmart. He probably works at Walmart.
Yeah,
My favorite,
The
the
Walmart
thing,
owner doesn't want to get accused of hiring that type of person. Like, yeah, free speech. Everyone's saying, "What about free speech?" The thing is, like, these businesses don't have to have you hired. You can say whatever you want, but you don't have a right to employment by these companies. So
yeah, no.
that's what I
I mean, the
think.
thing is you should not engage with Jubilee. Jubilee is meant to look. The whole Jubilee thing is to make right wingers look bad, and they've done a very good job at it. The only funny part of that whole Jubilee debate with that Pakistani, like whatever, Mehdi Hassan, that is on this, who sucks. by the way, and should be deported. But like, you shouldn't like say that to his face on a YouTube channel, maybe, with like where normies are watching. But the funniest part of that whole debate was like that guy who looks like a movie villain, who I thought was Hispanic, but he's actually Iranian. And it's like, this dude looks like he's about to like cast a spell on me. Why is he on a debate? But yeah, I don't know. Did you see that guy though?
No. Actually, Tubbs, I did see. I agree with you, and I'm so glad you brought up that point because I think that's the most important point. Is that you are brought on the show for the explicit purpose, no matter how good your intentions are, your invitation to Jubilee is an opportunity for you to be selectively snipped, clipped, and for you to be made a fool in front of the giant public audience that they have. That is your entire purpose. We crapped on someone during the election cycle for doing this exact same thing. And I think it's deserves, like, again, deserve to crap on Pine Sap for doing the same thing. I don't care how good his intentions were going into that. You don't go on to Jubilee. You don't walk into your enemy territory to purposely be mocked. It's the same reason why Republican GOP, House people are not going to these town halls anymore that are designed for Dems to ambush them, right? We don't want random congressmen going to town hall ambushes and making the party look like buffoons. Same reason why you shouldn't go on Jubilee. Freaking moron. So yeah, no, bad idea. He is actively harming the right wing by doing it, and now he's being punished, not directly for harming the right wing, but by the same people that he helped harm the right wing. So, there's kind of a just desserts angle to it, in my opinion, when you look at it that way. Chance for 5. Groypers are terminally online. If people could say what they say in real life, it would be a disaster. Say it with me now, online is not real life. There is a negative truth to that. We need to have.
Donald Trump is at the Federal Reserve. Donald Trump is at the Federal Reserve.
Donald Trump has reached the Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get.
Sorry to interrupt, by the way. Also, I'm wondering, like, what happened to the Fort Knox thing that Trump was proposing?
I think it's been pushed under the rug for a bit because they didn't want to crash the economy while they were doing trade deals. I genuinely think
Fair
that's
enough.
what happened. They're going to open
Unless it
up
was an
Fort
Elon
Knox.
Musk idea. Unless it was an Elon Musk idea, and now because Elon Musk is thrown under the bus, Trump doesn't want anything to do with that anymore. So.
Well, no, they could still do it. I think that they absolutely could. It just would be like a horrible time to do it. And then I have to ask myself, is there going to be a good time to tell the American people and the investors and the people that hold treasury bonds, yeah, all the gold's gone. So, I am Battlefield for 2. Should we take Greenland? Yes, I'm actually signing up to invade Greenland tomorrow. We're taking Greenland.
So true.
Why can't we just buy Denmark instead? Just buy Denmark, the whole country of Denmark, make it into the 51st state. But only, yeah. I mean, might as well. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
Yep. But yeah. Anyways, oh yeah. By the way, since we made Hulk Hogan the topic, I'll bring this up because I saw it again. Midnight was commenting on the timeline. People are trying to cancel Hulk Hogan while his body is still warm, because 10 years ago he was caught saying racial slurs.
Oh my god. I think he was he wasn't saying it in a racist way. He was making fun of people who said it in a racist way, but they don't care about the nuance. Whatever.
Well, I mean, and then he also, ripped his shirt off for Trump, so I guess there's that aspect as well.
He got baptized in 23. He supported Trump in 24. He is an icon of this country. And that was what I realized in last year was I didn't have a lot of appreciation for who Hulk Hogan was as a human being. But in that moment when he was on the RNC stage, I realized, wait a second, I was born after this, but this was a cornerstone of who we are as a country. It's a masculine element of who we are as a country. Why on earth would we throw this guy under the bus into the rubble for such a stupid reason as, oh, you said some words? Go fuck yourself. I'm just gonna be honest. But yeah, no, absolutely behind Hulk Hogan. HH brother, rest in peace. Okay, so I was gonna do a separate video on this, but I'll bring it up anyways, because there was a couple people commenting on it. Jesse Waters did a segment on it yesterday on his show. We had if you can believe it. Hunter Biden do 2 separate interviews talking about it. And now the new thing, this is the story I actually want to talk about, not the interview itself, but people's reaction. There was an Atlantic article and Jesse Waters and like a bunch of these people coming out and saying, well, this is what the Democrat Party really needs. They need someone macho, someone bold. They need left-wing Trump, and Hunter Biden's got that charisma to be left-wing Trump. So,
I thought left. Oh wait, sorry, left wing Trump. I thought you were talking about Joe Rogan. Never mind.
no. We're talking about Dark Brandon Jr., as Waters calls him.
Sure.
Brandon Jr. I just think this is a really silly idea, and they should stop while they're ahead. But if they want to keep going and they want to nominate Dark Brandon Jr., I'll vote for him. I've always wanted to endorse crack cocaine candidates. Did you guys know that he actually started talking about drugs on the podcast that everybody's been seeing?
Oh no, I heard he was like telling people about how like crack was like fully safe, and how crack cocaine was safe, but like crack wasn't. He was just like, you got to know the difference.
It's not safe. It's not safe.
Yeah,
isn't it?
We gotta preface it's not safe for YouTube people.
Yeah, that's just absolutely insane. I don't know why I think it's just a symbol of how far down the Democrats are. They can't find any inspiration. They can't find any hope. So they're clinging to Hunter Biden. They're clinging to a crack addict to get their macho, their charisma back. So just always remember that.
What's the John N. Kennedy quote where he's just like, call a crackhead, call a criminal? If you don't, you guys remember that when he was like spazzing out on the Senate floor about like, what was that about? Shit.
Well, there was an ad too where he said call a crackhead, and that went viral and probably got him above 60% in the election, unironically. But that's beside the point.
Okay. But yeah, by the way, this is your quick last call for super chats and any other stories that you guys want to bring up.
Oh, I know what we should bring up. That Wall Street Journal story from yesterday.
Wall Street Journal. Oh,
yes, saying something about Trump being in the files, and like he was told that.
So WSJ put out an article yesterday. I'm gonna put it up for chat to see. You guys can see it on stream in a few seconds. But yeah, the Justice Department told President Trump in May that his name is among many in the files. Now, this is the headline, but as Rap, if you guys follow Rap on Twitter, you should. Real Political Data, Real P Data, and he pointed out it's behind a paywall, so you only see the headline, and then when you actually read the article, they're like, "Oh yeah, there was like random custodians on there were janitors on there, but people that clean houses on there. Oh yeah, and this was like basically anybody and Fred and Joe and Frank and Dick and Harry are all on there, and they just happened to also have Trump on there because they had a connection before Trump threw him out of his own club for being inappropriate. Forest Man for 2 looks like Hillary really was drugged up in 2016. Yeah, that drives me a little bit insane. It drives me a little bit insane that we have confirmation of that now. She was on heavy tranquilizers, guys, and she had a mixture of things. She was basically borderline personality disorder. She was a borderline B word, and she blamed everybody around her for all of her problems. But she had she had COPD, so she was struggling to breathe. She had deep vein thrombosis, which is the crap that I've had that made me a bum leg, that gave me my bum leg. She has had clots in her leg. She had breathing problems, but they were throwing her around here, dragging her up and down and sideways, just like Joe Biden, to pretend that she was completely healthy. Completely despicable behavior. I would call it elder abuse, but the problem is with Joe Biden, he was losing his mind. Hillary Clinton was still completely there, just an emotional wreck. So I don't know what to say except for, man, these people cannot go any lower. And also, are any of us going to get an apology for bringing up concerns about Hillary Clinton's health and her collapsing in the middle of the street in May of 2016? Like, are any of us going to get an apology for showing legitimate concern, or are we just gonna like run with the, oh, you guys are schizophrenic, you guys are just gaslighting, you guys are, they didn't say gaslighting 10 years ago, but you get what I mean.
No, it's Trump that's the real dementia patient.
Yeah, WSJ full of crap. And we're gonna keep getting more here. I had a couple things on that. The DOJ is meeting like right before we started the stream, meeting with Maxwell and her attorneys to see what kind of deal they can make. My take on it from the start: just do it in a back room. Get some stuff that links names to crimes. Told you guys yesterday the same thing. I want justice, but I want it. I don't want a circus show. I want justice. Those two things are very far apart from each other. I don't need a public testimony. I don't need any of the stuff that some other people are clamoring for. I just want people in chains behind bars. How about that?
I got a few other points of news here, some minor stuff.
Sure.
Okay, so Bill and Hillary Clinton have been subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress for the files. I wouldn't get too excited. They're probably just going to plead the fifth. So,
Probably.
also, George Santos is going to have his final space before he goes to prison today at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
Oh, we
So
will be there. I'm gonna
soon.
honestly. I think he was kind of he's a scumbag, but he was screwed over. Is my
Yeah,
stance.
Trump likes him either, so he's not going to pardon him. So,
Wait, Trump's not gonna pardon him?
I highly doubt he's going to. I don't think he likes him for whatever reason.
Oh,
I don't know why, but there's probably some personal stuff. But yeah, George Santos.
What about George
Good
Santos?
luck in prison, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, good luck. He did an interview with Tucker Carlson.
7 years in prison.
I think he's gonna get out early. I think Trump's gonna pardon him in like a year, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, speaking of Trump, here's going to be my last story today. I have this pulled up. Something that everybody kind of glossed over, but Donald Trump and JD Vance were at an event, I believe, earlier today, talking about the future of AI, winning the AI race, talking about these things. And we have a quote from Trump here that I want you guys to see. I'm not going to play it like audio for you guys, but here, quote, winning the AI race will demand a new spirit of patriotism and national loyalty in Silicon Valley. He spoke in the speech about how Silicon Valley has been fully captivated by globalism for a while, how they stopped treating their market as the US market and started thinking of the world as their little playground. And that's part of why they've been taking jobs away from Americans and giving them to foreigners. Many of our largest tech companies have reaped the blessings of American freedom while building factories in China, hiring workers in India. Under President Trump, those days are over. So President Trump indicating he's gotten on the H-1B train. He's looking to reform. He's looking to make it better. He's looking to get rid of the really terrible lottery system we have right now. And immediately afterward, at the same event, JD Vance, according to this Breitbart article, pulled out the same thing. He talked about the story, the article of Microsoft laying off thousands of jobs we talked about a couple weeks ago, and begging for H-1B visas because they can't find American work while firing American workers. JD Vance brought it up at the same event. He called it a bullshit story, and he wants the numbers analyzed, and he wants Silicon Valley to hire Americans. Here's what he said verbatim. Quote, you see some big tech companies where they'll lay off 9,000 workers, then they'll apply for a bunch of overseas visas. And I sort of wonder, that totally doesn't make sense to me. That displacement and that math worries me a bit. And this was the end of the quote. I don't want companies to fire 9,000 American workers and then go say, we can't find workers here in America. That's a bullshit story. I think that's a really great movement forward. We've gotten H-1Bs into the admin's rhetoric. What do you guys think?
I told you this would happen. I told you guys that how do I say this? I told you that Trump would not let us down. The Groypers were wrong. We were right. MAGA, Trump wins. We won. I told you I was totally vindicated. Haters, Panikians, coping, seething, dilating, molding.
Also, one
Mhm.
last piece of news: Florida's possibly going to be redistricting, according to
Oh,
DeSantis.
very cool. Here, I'll pull that up for chat to see. Ron DeSantis considering redistricting Florida. I think we had a little bit of conversation about this earlier, where we were saying, I think it was you, Texan, or someone else was saying that he had gotten some +5 Harris districts out of the last election. The redistricting that had happened previously didn't turn out exactly how he wanted it to. So we might be able to hone that, get a couple more seats squeezed out of Florida. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we can
And
probably get something like maybe 3 or like 2 or 3, maybe 4, 5 at most, but probably 4 at the absolute max. Most likely it's probably going to be Soto of the 9th district, Moskowitz at the 23rd, and then Debbie Wasserman Schultz of I think it's the 22nd or 25th, something like that. I'm not sure. I think it's 25th. So
yeah, I really hope that we can get those districts going good. And like I said, Florida showed us last year it's a little bit different from how people used to think of it. So, well, that merits in itself redistricting. We'll see what happens going forward there. My last piece I wanted to say on the previous story, the Donald Trump and JD Vance at the same event, basically stacking up their cards against H-1B visas. I wanted to say this is going to be a long haul story. We're not going to get everything we want with the first thing they do. They're probably going to make H-1B visas better. They're going to make them targeted towards high paying jobs and like give some relief to the middle and upper middle class from these visas. But there's so much wrong with this system that it's going to take a long time to fix. And so I hope you guys are in here for the long haul, in here for promoting American jobs and work, because that's our business and that's what we do here on Real American. So think about Hulk Hogan, think about Trumpomania, and in his memory, fight for the American dream for every single citizen sitting here in the country, for every American red hot blooded that wants to be on the streets working or in tech. That's what we got to do. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to talk about. And that's what Real American's all about. So please stick with us. Continue pushing. We basically need H-1B visas gone entirely. We don't really need them to begin with, but the transition's going to take a long time. So stick with us. Keep preaching. And God bless all of you. Have a wonderful day. And Godspeed